Welcome to Buffzone, Pat. We are here for week 4 and Nicholls State week. Not quite the ring to it that CSU week had last week, but before we get to Nicholls State, let's talk about the CSU game real quick. Obviously a huge win for the Buffs, 27-24 in overtime. Just your quick impressions of that game.
Good to see, obviously, see you come away with that win. Any number of things could have gone wrong at the end of that game. They had a chance to win in regulation. Obviously, didn't quite happen. To come back, obviously beat your rival like that, a great springboard for the Buffs, and obviously a win they really needed.
Yeah, you hear a lot of after a game like that well they should have lost because this could happen. Well, but they didn't, and I give the Buffs credit. They really hung in there after getting in that 14-0 hole early on. They really battled back and outscored the Rams 27-10 the rest of the way. I really like the way they bounced back after that hole.
A phrase you keep hearing around this team is learning how to win, and if that's true, Saturday was a huge step in that right direction. Like you said, an early deficit. They managed to claw their way back, made some big plays. They got the offense going, and obviously were able to prevail at the end.
The other night after the game, Sunday night, the practice after the game, McIntyre kind of alluded to a little bit. But the last 2 weeks, they've won 2 different ways that they haven't in the past. One by putting an opponent away against UMass, and 2 by coming back and getting a good victory. So really positive signs the last 2 weeks, and I like the direction this team is headed as they go into the last non-conference game of the year.
Yeah, you'd like to see them continue that momentum this week, especially against the Nicholls State team that's coming in here obviously well overmatched.
Yeah.
The losing streak is at 20 games now. When they have played teams from the power conferences, it hasn't ended well for Nicholls State. So you'd like to see CU keep up the momentum, play a clean game on Saturday, and get ready for the Pac-12.
Yeah, I don't think there's any doubt the Buffs are going to win this game, and I can say that with assurance more than any other time that I've ever covered this team. But yes, you have to respect an opponent, and who knows? I mean, anything could happen, I guess. But Nicholls State's been so bad over the last couple of years that I've got to think the Buffs win this fairly easily. But you're right. I mean, the thing that I'm going to look for this Saturday against Nicholls State is how clean do they play. Are they sharp on things? Because this is their last chance to prepare for the Pac-12. They've got to be kind of sharp on some things, I think.
You want to make sure we don't see a lot of silly penalties. You want to make sure there's not turnovers. Like it's a clean game, I think, is a good definition of what I think Coach McIntyre will want to see on Saturday. They should be able to overcome any of those things and still beat this team. But obviously you want to keep it clean, have a lot of momentum then going into the Pac-12.
Yeah, definitely. The other thing I think you want to see is everybody staying healthy. There was a lot of guys that got dinged up against CSU. Most of them came back in the game, but they're still dealing with those things this week. I mean, even Sefo had the bruise to his arm. Kenneth Olagbode got, he was favoring his arm one time coming off the play. A couple guys didn't come back, so it's important for them to stay healthy as well and try to avoid those things.
I know talking to running back Patrick Carr, he's probably going to be held out this week. I think he only got 1 carry on Saturday against the Rams before needing to be sidelined. But this could be a good week for that. They should be able to survive Nicholls State just fine with giving these guys an extra week to get ready. And it should, ideally see some of the backups in there shortly into the second half.
Yeah, just real quick, you mentioned Patrick Carr. It'll be interesting with the running back situation because Michael Atkins had the hamstring against CSU and only had the 1 carry. I doubt he'll go this week. Philip Lindsay hurt his ribs and is in the blue jersey this week, which the non-contact jersey. So we could see walk-on Kyle Evans a little bit behind Christian Powell, so that'll be interesting to see that. But I would imagine we're going to see a lot of running from the Buffs.
And I imagine we'll see a lot of Christian Powell as well. Yeah. Look for the Buffs to establish that ground game early, get a lead, and then just kind of take it on home and hopefully, like I said, get some backups in there and look forward to the Pac-12.
All right, well, we do this every week. We do a prediction. I know it's Nicholls State. I'm going to do it. I always have you do it first. I'm going to go first,
yeah, right.
Just to be fair. So, it's hard to predict this one, but I'm going to say the Buffs win this one 56-10.
I've seen spreads out there at 50 points. I don't know that that'll happen. That might be a little ambitious, especially if you consider ideally they'll start running the ball and try to get out of here with the W. I'm going to go somewhere around the 42-10 range, 42-13 in that category.
Sounds good. Well, I think we're both predicting a fairly easy win for the Buffs, and hopefully it'll be that way. We'll be back next week to talk about Oregon as the Buffs start Pac-12.